Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another game of the Champions Cup. We are up to round 4. So every game is crucial. The table is as follows. Bordeaux sitting at the top of the bunch. They have had a sensational 3 games, winning all of them with the bonus points. But the Bulls, well, theoretically, they can pass Bordeaux, but they'd have to beat them by 72 points. That's a lie. It's actually only about 36, and I feel like that's doable for the Bulls if it wasn't up against Bordeaux. So it's going to be an interesting game. I feel like the Bulls, as you can see, they're well and truly safe anyway. It's more of a battle down there between Saracens and Bristol to see who will be missing out. Top 4 go through to the round of 16. The next team, they make their way through to this round of 16 in the Challenge Cup. So currently Bordeaux top of the bunch. They have got this game away from home though, playing in South Africa. Can they get themselves the upset win? Looking through at the Bulls starting lineup, it is Gerhard Stennekamp, Jan-Hendrik Wessels at 2, and Mornay Smith will be slotting in as the tie here prop. Ludwig at 4. I think he's been absolutely phenomenal throughout the start of 2024, really stepping up as one of the top locks at the moment in terms of form for the VODACOM Bulls. Ruan Nokia will be the man at 5, looking to bring that intensity as he always does for that 5 jersey. Marcel Kutsia, Gumedi, as well as Honeycomb will be the loose forward trio. Ambros Papier and Johan Hussen as the 19 combo. David Creel and Stedman Hans will be slotting in as the centre pairing. Back 3, Devin Williams, Sebastian de Klerk, and Willy LaRue finds himself back at number 15. Now, he is normally the playmaker for the Bulls, and he's only been there for this season and already cementing himself as one of the top men when it comes to those assists. In terms of being able to set up the next play, he's very handy indeed, Mr. Willy LaRue. But now looking through at Bordeaux's side, although first of all, we will check the chat. Of course, we've got hi from Arya. How are you, mate? Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. There's better now. I see you moving. Says Novman, and hi, says Patrick Brady. Welcome in. And Bordeaux will lose today. Says Happy Face Man, and hi, Hamish. Says Amanus there as well. Yeah, a lot of people are expecting a Bulls win with the fact that they are playing at home. They are at Loftus. It is called their fortress for a reason. I think we should expect a good performance for them. Bordeaux, one of their star players, are not playing in this contest, but they have got an ex-Bulls player who is out on that wing. That is, of course, Midosh Tambwe. But in the front row, Carlos Sadie, we're going to see him in action. So another guy who has been playing in South Africa, who now finds himself playing back in South Africa, just not for a South African team. Adam Coleman at number 5, of course, the big Aussie lock. And Pete Samu, another Australian. Of course, Australia, a bit of a talking point in the rugby world currently, mainly because of the fact that Joe Schmidt will be taking over as head coach. Very curious to see how he does, and hopefully it does turn the Wallabies around. Aberdeen and also Holmes will be the 19 combo in the midfield. Feel like they're going to base their backline off speed, and that is definitely personified by who they've got out on their wings. Belbari out on the left wing, Amendosh Tambwe, like I mentioned, the ex-Bulls player. Out on the right, he didn't really get a chance to show exactly what he could do for the Bulls. He was very green at the time he was playing for them. He's trying to slowly hone his craft. Him up against Sebastian de Klerk will be a very interesting one for us to watch. Good morning, Hamish. How are you today? I've heard you've done some cricket commentary. Says Morning Lagrange here. We did end up covering the match between the West Indies and Australia in full for the test match, which was absolutely awesome. We are covering the next test just around the corner as well. Next weekend, we've got the Perth Sevens that we will be covering on the channel alongside the test match. So plenty coming up on the Kiwi Lads channel, and I believe also a URC match up next week. And don't worry, Mish, I'm here, says Gareth. Well, welcome in, Gareth. Hope you are doing very well, mate. Do let me know what you think of this Bordeaux side. Can they do it? Can they cause the upset? Honestly, on paper, I don't see it. I think that the Bulls' current form is going to be enough to get them over the line. Now, looking through at their past games. Now, yes, they did lose to the Stormers. Yes, they did lose to Lyon. But both of those games, they were right in the hunt up until the final whistle. They were both away from home. Their last away game up against the Bristol Bears, they were successful in defeating them 31 points to 17. But I still think there's a lot left in this Bulls gas tank for not just 2024, but for this whole competition. Next round, I believe, is taking place in late March, about the 31st of March, is when the first games of the round of 16 will be taking place. We will be covering them on the channel as well, of course. But yeah, the Sharks, the Bulls, and the Stormers, they are the teams that a lot of people always talk about when it comes to the South African sides. The Lions, a bit of a dark horse. They're slowly creeping through, but of course they cannot take part in this Champions Cup. Same with the Sharks. They are in the Challenge Cup. But the former Bordeaux, they have been looking very impressive. The difference in some of these close games, they have been able to sneak themselves over the line, whether they're away from home or whether they are the home side. Very similar scoreline up against the Bristol Bears as what we did see for the VODACOM Bulls with that 36 points to 17. But most recently, I guess the best way of describing it is just thrashing Saracens. 55-15 dominant performance. And if they try and do that up against the Bulls, I think they'll have another thing coming, because the Bulls, they will be wanting to muscle up. They want to be physical, and they want to defend their home turf. So I think that's the little incentive that they've got at the moment. Last time a Kiwi coached Australia, it ended up in a disaster, says Morning the Grange. Fun fact, last time someone coached Australia, it also ended in disaster. So just because it's a Kiwi won't make too much of a difference. At least we know he's probably not going to take the money in Japan after about half a season and not tell anyone. We have Hello Irish says, Flesham, was that too harsh on Eddie Jones? I think I'm just throwing blanks and throwing stones at the moment. Good afternoon, Gareth, says Flesham. And there as well, I will be watching both games. Of course, a couple of matches taking place at the same time. That is the beauty and also the kind of sad nature of the Champions Cup, with the fact that we do get to see multiple games in action all at the same time. Means that sometimes you don't quite get to feel the atmosphere of certain games. But I think it's going to be a very entertaining one. Six Nations starting in 2 weeks, France to win it. Says Happy Face Man. And of course, we are going to be covering all of those games on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Eddie Jones deserves your bad comments, says Monet Lagrange. I've said it before, but I'm predicting the All Blacks to clean sweep this year, says Novmum. And there as well, they are just showing this Bordeaux side. I'll be honest, with the fact that they haven't got Damien Penaud in France, Belbari, he is still there. So I thought maybe because it was so close to the Six Nations, they didn't want to risk the injuries of any of the French squad. Is Belbari in the French squad, ladies and gents? I'm sure he was. And the Crusaders can whip the Bulls anytime. Well, fun fact, the Crusaders will be taking on Munster in the very near future for the rugby pre-season of Super Rugby. We will be covering those games on the channel as well. We've got a lot coming up. So anyone who's new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I will mention, I think I got heat stroke today, so I'm a little bit in a not silly mood, but I think I've lost my filter, so just caution in there. Disclaimer, anything that comes to mind, I'll probably say it and regret it later. Currently, about these tyres, so that wasn't a sentence, these two sides about to make their way out of the tunnel are the words that I wanted to say. The Bulls, they will be wearing their blue kit at Loftus. Have you heard about Elton Yankees? I did. He's a bit of a silly boy, isn't he? And unfortunately, you know, you can't help some people. He's had so many chances, like he was doing the dirty with the dietitian, and everyone was like, mate, you probably shouldn't have. But she was kind of hot. And now he's in the scenario of taking stuff. It doesn't really look good, and like 4 years is going to do him. Like, that's the end of his career, unfortunately. He can't really do what Deante did, which was do it young enough so that you have a chance of coming back, although I don't think that he will get to that same level now, being Deante, just with the lack of time that he will have to turn it around. And also, if the New Zealand teams playing in the European Championship, they would dominate. Says Happy Face Man, and All Blacks to win all their games this year, says Happy Face Man. And there's well will be Carl Dixon in charge for this matchup, Mornay. And go the Bulls from a Stormer, says Villy Explorer. Of course, the Stormers, they will be playing in 4.5 hours' time. They'll be up against Stade Francais. I will be honest, I couldn't name you one. Stade Francais player currently. They have got a very unknown squad to me, which is a bit bad on my behalf. I should learn a lot more of their players. Kicked off long by the Bulls. She's looking dry at the moment at Loftus. 15 seconds in. Ball has found touch for Bordeaux, and now the Bulls with an attacking line out. 22 metres out. You think Dianti will make it to the top again? I think that they can't risk it. You know, like even if, let's say for instance, it was a false alarm or anything along those lines, or even if he's learnt from his mistakes and put down the needle, you still can't afford to have that as a part of your reputation, if that makes sense. Like, it's a little bit similar to the Australia cricket side. Like, forever now they are dampened by David Warner, Steve Smith, those type of guys, even though they're still playing them, but the Aussies get a lot of stick because of it, because they're playing them. Beautiful ball on the inside there, and only a few metres out, Jan Hendrik Wessels takes the ball and throws Papier to the short side. The Bulls are in 1 minute into the contest. That is how you start a match, ladies and gentlemen. Kendron Heineken has taken it upon himself to just drive over the top of Bordeaux. Welcome to South Africa. They've welcomed them with a massive try off the get-go. Bordeaux, they kicked it for touch, and then all of a sudden the Bulls on hot attack. Heineken actually ended up with the assist, at least to Jan Hendrik Wessels for his attack. Will you miss the box if we move to the Six Nations? Says Billy Explore. Probably not, only because we cover all the games anyway, so we'll get to see them play no matter what competition they're in. A little bit similar to with them playing in the URC. Like people always say, do you miss them in Super Rugby? Oh, has he dropped that? Not convincing. I think they're saying it's all right, though, for the grounding. But yeah, like, because I cover the games anyway, it kind of doesn't change too much for me. Yes, it's a shame not seeing certain sides play each other, but I still normally see it. Anyway, it's the Six Nations, Northern Hemisphere, and SAS Southern. Says Novmum, yeah, normally, but South Africa, it's a weird scenario, because some South Africans are adamant they want to be a part of the Six Nations. Others just don't really want them to go north, and it's a strange scenario, isn't it? Heineken, I think he's pretty much lost that ball. He might have just balls this up, to put it politely. What a blistering start by the Bulls, or is it? And Bulls could get 40 points in this game. Yeah, if they win this game by 40 points, they top the table in their grouping. I really value the South Africa-New Zealand rivalry, so I don't want to lose that, says Willie. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the biggest rivalries in sport in some regards. Or I think they're going to say this is no try. His pinky was playing with the ball, but I don't think he's actually got it down, unfortunately, for him. No try. Goal line dropout. Was a quick start for the Bulls. They will still receive this goal line dropout. I believe Zach Holmes will try and boot it as deep as he physically can. But yeah, I know another side of things, I know this is going to sound harsh. I don't mean it to. But a lot of the people who want South Africa to join the Six Nations, the reason they want them to join it is because they want to beat all those Northern Hemisphere sides. But the problem that South Africa have got to a certain extent is they don't win the Rugby Championship as often as they should to be. Like, they'll probably still win the Six Nations, don't get me wrong, if they were a part of it. But, like, I feel like they want to win the Rugby Championship a few more times so that, like, they are really that top contender, even though they're world champions. It sounds really weird to explain, but, like, that was a high tackle. That was about around his, maybe, hairline from Pete Samu, the Australian. Tackling high, nice and early in this. Vili LaRue, nice flat pass. Off to Mornay Smith. Now going to the right and Broads Papier inside ball from Vili LaRue. Gets it off to Marcel Kutsia. Ball turned over. I think that was Amriti. So now they will go back for the original high tackle. I would not be happy to see South Africa in the Six Nations. Says Happy Face Man. I had to get 3 tiny tattoos for radiation in a few weeks. I have to. Says Novmum. I see. I didn't actually know that was a thing, Novmum. The tattoo side of things. Now kicking for the corner again for the Bulls. They are willing to go attacking here. And no one really asked us up here if we want them to join, says Fleshin. Well, Fleshin, now is your opportunity. You've got your platform. I ask you, yes or no, do you want them to, and do people up there want them to? Because it might be different for yourself. Now we're rolling more 10 metres out from the line. Advantage in favour of the Bulls. Cross kick from Johan Goosen. He's got a lot on that, but somehow keeping it in the field of play. Once again, they will be going back out to Hamish. Bulls will win today. We don't win the Rugby Championship enough because we always get beaten by the All Blacks, says Johan Lavascachny. And that is one of the rivalry matches that lately have been going a little bit more in the Springboks' favour. So it would be a shame to lose that. You know, like, it's something that, like, yes, they'll try and set up so that even if South Africa were in the Six Nations, there would still be a New Zealand-South Africa match every once in a while, but we wouldn't have that same amount of the two sides playing. In fact, you might even only get to see them play each other every 3 or so years, which some people would be willing to wait for, but a lot of people love the fact that they can watch them play each other week in, week out. David Kriel held up on his back. It's going to be another goal line dropout, or at least it would have been if they didn't have the advantage. So they're going back for the Bulls again. Currently, Bordeaux are getting penalised out of this match. Have to be very careful here. And no, we don't, certainly not the fans. Says Fleshin, and that's unfortunate for the Bulls. Hopefully, they get their try pretty soon. And they are right on the verge of scoring. Heineken has got the ball in hand. Looks like they might just take this quick tap. Speaking of South Africa, Drakis du Plessis in action today up against Sean Strickland. That's going to be one heck of a fight. And it's such a hard one to predict because you could ask one person and they will firmly say Sean Strickland will win. You ask another and DDP's got it every day of the week. So, yeah, I'm very curious. I honestly think DDP will get it done, though. He's got that South African mindset of a world champion. And, yeah, it's going to be good. Kicked him behind from Villy LaRue. Mark is taken again. Hang on, they had the penalty advantage once more. Oh, yellow card. Carlos Sadie has been penalised and yellow card. A little bit similar to what we saw when he was at the Lions, although normally he was a part of the dominant four-pack, but at the moment their four-pack is being dominated. What match are you doing next, says Connor? I did want to do Stade Francais versus the Stormers, but I'll be perfectly honest, I don't know the Stade Francais team well enough. I feel to actually be able to provide decent commentary. That one, very close, and the Bulls this time off the quick tap do manage to get themselves the try, and I think it's the captain, Marcel Kutsia, yes it is, who has popped up with the first try 7 minutes into this contest. Very nicely done by the Bulls, but just a quick tap. That is something that the Bulls have done ever since Dwayne Vermeulen had that jersey on. He loves a quick tap and go. Do the Munster match, says Connor. Who are Munster playing? I know Leinster have got Leicester Tigers. I'll honestly say I have no idea who Munster are playing in their next contest. I know they've got the Crusaders in a couple of weeks' time, but I'm just going to have to look up a few of the other games. We'll be covering Super Rugby despite last year's copyright strike. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, if I get a copyright strike again, I can get it removed quicker than last year. I mean, it was still relatively quick after the Super Rugby season, but the problem is, like, that was the big live stream for us that we got taken away. Like, we covered, I would say, about 60-something matches of Super Rugby, no problems whatsoever. And then when it got to the final, when all the hard work, I guess, was about to pay off, we got copyright struck. But that's just, unfortunately, the reality of doing streaming. Every once in a while, something's going to go wrong. Luckily, touch wood, nothing's gone wrong for us as of yet for this year that I can think of. Actually, no, that's a lie. We've had a couple random problems. Northampton says Connor, and also hi Hamish, says Orion, and their chat as well. Oh yeah, so they're playing at 6:30. They come in as quite heavy favourites, Munster, although Northampton, decent season at the moment in the Premiership. I think they are just checking a high shot here. And whether or not there was a shoulder involved. Okay, it is going to be a scrum. Blue ball here. We're a little bit worried about the player's safety. They thought he might have taken a bit of a knock. Okay, Pete Samu actually going to be going off the field here for an HIA. Oh no, my apologies. He's not going off for the HIA. He's actually going off because Ben Tamethuna has to make his way onto the field. A man who thoroughly impressed a lot of people for Tonga in the Rugby World Cup. First Super Rugby game will likely be a sellout, Chiefs versus Crusaders, says Novmum. And it's an interesting game because that is the day of my cousin's wedding that we are going to. So it's going to be a tricky one. I don't know whether or not I'm going to have time in between to be able to cover that. If not, I'm definitely going to try and find someone to do the stream for me in that case. But it's just a big shame that the exact date they chose ages ago is the first day of Super Rugby, and it's such a big match as well. I'm going to the Munster match on the 3rd of next month, says Connor. So I think that's up against the Crusaders. If I'm not wrong, Northampton going well, but Munster will do them, says a Jimbo there. Welcome in, Jimbo. Hope you are keeping well, mate. And Stormers also won United Rugby Championship. Why did Stormers get a crack against Crusaders? Because they hadn't come up with that system yet. So last year's winners were Munster, so that is why they've got them. That is going to be a knock on there from Villy LaRue, but once again playing under penalty advantage, which at the moment it feels like the Bulls have done for this whole 10 minutes of the start of this contest. Every time there is a penalty against Bordeaux, it just sucks that little bit more wind out of their sails. And the away side in South Africa is hard enough, but when your discipline is also letting you down, it can feel like an eternity. How you doing, Munster vs Crusaders match? We certainly are. And I will go the Bulls, says Arthur Harrison. And they chat as well, but kicked into touch for the Bulls. They will sit about 52 metres out from their own line, so just inside of the Bordeaux territory. Yeah, huge amount of movement there at scrum time. Makes it quite awkward for the front rows to get themselves stable, but nice line out one by the VODACOM Bulls. And Bruce Papia goes across to Goosen, Creel in the midfield. A good bit of defence though from Mbite. Now Papia driven backwards. Try scorer. And Marcel Kutz there. Not a lot of meters made as of yet for the Bulls. They have been told to use it. It looks like Bruce Papia will actually go to the sky with this one. Put it up the box kick. No, instead actually goes back to Johan Goosen. They changed the plan and it might work well. Here comes Madosh Tambwe with the tackle. And what's happened here? I think it's a forward pass from Stedman Hans to Jan-Hendrik Wissels. Madosh Tambwe just having a bit of a chat there with Jan-Hendrik Wissels. Of course, ex-teammates, those two. Like they're saying, just there makes a return to his former home ground. I don't think he was too happy with Jan-Hendrik Wissels not giving them the ball. Just let him know about it. Just a little bit forward from Stedman Hans. Or is the Munster and Crusaders match going to take place? Says Amorne. So that match, it is going to be, I believe, at Thorpeman Park for Munster. I'll just have a quick look. It's actually going to be played in Cork for the pre-season game. And it's a 6 a.m. start here in New Zealand. Quite a few other Super Rugby pre-season games that are taking place. A big push there. I think he was offside at the chase for the kick there, Bordeaux, so probably lucky not to get penalised. Back up to his feet is Sebastian de Klerk, only 10 metres out from the line. Counter ruck there from Bordeaux, but it doesn't work out, and Bruce Papia now still has the ball available for the Bulls. Short ball from Villy LaRue. Goes to Heineken, and the penalty does go the way of Bordeaux, straight in off his feet. Now they have a decision to make. Do they go for the corner or do you take on the 3 points They've had no momentum whatsoever. They've hardly touched the ball in this match. And by the looks of it, they're going to take the quick tap. They're saying Ben Tamefuna, the big man. Oh no, he's been kicked out of it. Here we go, quick tap taken. Going off to this left-hand side. Flat attack and run from Bordeaux. Little pop pass up for Poroi. And just inches from the line, Bordeaux dragged down. Big Ben Tamefuna is waiting for it, but they go to the left instead. And Bordeaux score the try there. Fullbacks in, Romain Burros. 13 minutes in, has got another try for Bordeaux for this season. And thanks, Hamish, for your great commentary. As always, appreciate it. Says great. Thank you very much, mate. Usually appreciate you being here for this live stream as well. This match just got a little bit more interesting. Bit more oomph coming from Bordeaux at an important time of the game. It seems that the Bordeaux lack of discipline. If they continue like this, it's going to be a long day at the office for them. Well, they're already down to 14 men at the moment because of that early yellow card that came for Carlos Sadie. But with the man disadvantage, only 2 minutes remaining of that yellow card, and they have actually scored more points, or at least equal points, with the Bulls during that period. Zach Holmes, first kick of the match for him. Like they've just said, first start. So Bordeaux mixing up their team, going with a bit of experience along the way, but mainly just trying to go with a side they feel matches up best with this Bulls team, minus the likes of Damien Pinot. Hamish, can I ask you something quick, says Marnus? Well, that will depend on what it is, Marnus. But go for it. We'll see if we're going to answer it. Come on, the Bulls, says Helen Howe. Now makes the score 7-all with that kick being successful for Zach Holmes. 14 and a half minutes into this contest, and so anyone's for the taking. Now, I did mention earlier on, though, I did feel like Bordeaux were offside for their kick. They weren't pulled up for it. Playing to the whistle. Belbarry down the wing, doing a little bit of the fancy footwork with the grubber in behind, and Bruce Papier is shut down. And Bordeaux, it's as if that try has woken them up, and they maybe needed that to be able to really get going. The penalty does go the way of the Bulls, just losing their feet there, Bordeaux, in the counter-ruck. It's probably a lucky penalty for the Bulls because Bordeaux looked like they were very keen on getting that ball straight back. When in February is the match going to take place? Munster versus Crusaders. It is the 4th of February for us here in New Zealand, but that'll be, I believe, 7 p.m. on Saturday, the 3rd of February for you guys in South Africa. So it's actually a nice time. Has Ben Tamefuna lost weight? He looks smaller. Says Novmum. He does look a little bit more limber. Maybe it's white. Because I know that the Tongan kit sometimes isn't that flattering, but yeah, it could just be the fact that they're in that away kit, but he might be down a few kg maybe. Ben Tamefuna, he looks like he's moving pretty well, the big man. Now Ruan Nokia, the Bulls only 10 metres out from the line. That looked like a side entry in the breakdown, and it's going to work out for the Bulls as they get it out wide. And Devon Williams has been able to score the try, and the Bulls back into the lead. That is the type of contest we are going to see, ladies and gentlemen. A bit of a seesaw. Tries going either way. But this one goes to the Bulls. Do you know Jan Lou Brand? I do. I had a few chats with Jan Lou in the past. He actually pops into the chat every once in a while as well. Are you going to cover the match on the YouTube channel? I am planning on it. I hope that there is a way of watching it here in New Zealand. I would assume that there would be, seeing as it's the Crusaders playing. But yeah, that's the plan, to be able to cover it. And alongside that, we've actually got a few other preseason games that we will be covering. I know that for preseason, Highlanders are playing Moana Pacifica. That is in 10 days' time. 12 days' time. Couple Japanese top league players or teams playing Super Rugby teams. Suntory, Goliath playing the Blues is the first one that we see. But that is a great kick there. And that'll now make the score 14 points to 7. Now we need to remember, of course, any extra points for tries will get you the one. And those are all very crucial at this stage of the competition. Bordeaux have had a perfect 15 points up till this stage, which means that they have been able to score at least 4 tries in all of their Champions Cup contests. You can see how as well with how quickly they were able to answer back. But a big kick downfield. Nicely done by Gumeri. Chase from Tambwe. Slow him down inside of his 22. And South Africa versus France revisit it. Says Jimbo there. Now Ambrose Papier. It's a high, awkward for Bordeaux. And I think it's taken by Bordeaux Tambwe. That is successful for their man out on the right wing, which is great to see because when he went to France, it was to help hone his craft. He was great for the Bulls, but he just had a few little mistakes that used to hurt him, mainly to do with the handlings. Tamefuna, he has been taken back off the field as Carlos Sadie has made his way back out onto the park after his 10-minute break. Another staying up late weekend for you, Hamish. You don't get much sleep over the weekend, says Marnus. I do not. That is true. And normally weekends are pretty brutal at this time of the year anyway because I'm also playing cricket. Like I played 2 matches of cricket yesterday. Well, pretty much today. Came home, set up the stream. I am running off about 70 minutes of sleep, which is pretty rough. But I don't think I look too tired, hopefully. Hopefully I don't look like I'm half asleep. Adam Coleman running forward there for Bordeaux. Trying to put together a few phases here with Kane Douglas. The other lot getting his hands on the ball now. Zach Holmes has gone for the kick in behind and it will roll into touch. The ball's now with the line out inside of their 22. It's be about 20 metres out. For 20 minutes into this contest, the Bulls currently have got themselves the lead by 7. A long way to go. Oh. Okay, Carl Dixon just getting annoyed with one of the Bulls players saying, why are you talking to me like that? I think Jan-Hendrik Wessels might have been talking a bit of trash to him, which is not what you want. And probably not smart either. You don't want to be on the wrong side of the referee. Definitely not when you've won so many penalties already. Which New Zealand team do you support? I'm pretty impartial, mainly because, like, I'm living halfway in between 2 teams. That's a fantastic kick downfield. Bordeaux take it quickly, which the ref will appreciate because he had no idea where that ball went out. Now big boot, fantastic kick. No, it was out on the full. And now they have to go right back. This is going to be in a similar position to where we saw the first Bulls attack launch of the game, about that 20 metres. They did it pretty well. It actually ended up as a no try though. Heineken just a little knock on. Now line out. Jan-Hendrik Wessels, possession currently 67% in favour of the home side, the Bulls. Ambrose Papier going off to Gumeri. Normally he's playing in that number 8 jersey or somewhere in that loose forward trio. They've given him 7 today. Good tackle made by Belbari. Driving him down. Ball knocked out of the hands of Ambrose Papier, but they will go back for the original penalty advantage for offside. Do you remember on what live stream you did? It was the first time I chatted to you, says Marnus. I would assume it was a South African game of some sort, whether that was the Springboks or maybe the URC. But I wouldn't be able to tell you the exact one, so at a guess, probably say Stormers versus Bulls. That's normally a good match. I wish South African teams would go back to the Super League to improve the New Zealand teams. Says happy face man. Now Jan-Hendrik Wessels with another line out throw. Now nicely taken by Rohan Nokia. Hendrik Wessels waiting for it. And it will start to march towards the line for the Bulls. He's just dragging him towards the try line. I think that they got that slightly wrong. Yes, they did. And Bordeaux are now going to have themselves the scrum. They are going to cover the Stormers match on the YouTube channel, says Mono Lagrange. Unfortunately, we probably will be missing this next Stormers contest up against Stade Francais. I feel the Stormers will win it, hopefully comfortably in that regard, but honestly, I don't know the Stade Francais side well enough. Like, normally there are teams that you can get by with only knowing a few of their players. I looked through their whole starting lineup trying to find a familiar face, and it was extremely difficult to find players that I recognised. Sekou Machelou coming off the bench is about as good as it gets for, I guess, knowing players. That one's gone down in the front row. So another reset. Favourite club rivalry, says the reviewer. Ooh. Super Rugby-wise, I feel like Crusaders Blues always has a bit of steam, although Crusaders Chiefs is becoming the new Crusaders Blues. But, I mean, Leinster Munster's normally a good one. Stormers versus any South African side. Bulls versus Sharks was one that stood out a while. It was the Samoa versus South Africa Sevens game to do by Sevens on the 2nd of December last year. So I know you more than a month and a half, says Manus. And All Blacks go to whip the box, sweet revenge for the World Cup defeat, says Happy Face Man. There, another penalty, this time going against Jan-Hendrik Wessels. And Bordeaux will be able to kick the ball downfield. Now, I should mention with Stade Francais, they have got some players I know, but they just aren't playing in this matchup against the Stormers. Like, I know that Brad Weber is actually at Stade Francais. In terms of that 4-pack, there are a few other international guys. Tangi Noa Halafanoa, I think, is playing, which is probably the only guy I could name you in their Stade Francais lineup. We should mention as well, with the fact that you said about the Sevens, we are covering the Sevens next weekend for the Perth Sevens, ladies and gents. So be sure to give that a look. Ambrose Papier going back across to the right-hand side for Johan Goosen. They are 30 metres out from the line here. The VODACOM Bulls looking to find that next killer pass that will get them yet again another try. They've already got two. That was a forward pass, I believe, from Stedman Hans. Beautiful offload out there. Back for Jan-Hendrik Wessels. 10 metres from the line now. Ambrose Papier cross to Gameri. 5 metres out. Another penalty advantage against Bordeaux. This is getting ridiculous at this stage with the amount of penalties that they have given away. Welcome in, Kiwi Gamer. You are doing well. Marcel Kutsia going across to Ruan Nokia now. Now Gamedi. Just short. Ball is popped out the back for Stedman Hans. Now Hoosen, short ball to Krill. And now Jan Hoosen, another penalty. And they've taken the quick tap. Not on the mark for Honeycomb. They've actually got a couple options. I'm pretty sure most of the people who show up on your live stream don't really focus on the game that is currently happening. They just want to ask you questions and talk to you, says Amanus. Well, that's the kind of, I guess, environment we've created, which is quite cool. Like, we just love watching rugby, but we also love chatting rugby or just chatting random things. It's currently 2:30 a.m. here in New Zealand, so there's always the random topics that come up. So Razor Robinson to be the most successful coach in 2024, says Happy Face Man. And lots of Western Australia and power outage. Freak storm. Brought down 50-metre tall transmission towers. Crumbled like tinfoil. Says Kiwi Gamer, what's the reason for not covering the Stormers match? I did say it just before, but pretty much just a lack of knowledge for myself of the Stade Francais team, as well as, I mean, I don't normally have it as an excuse, but I do have to be up kind of early tomorrow. But, like, that's the thing. I would happily do it even if that was the case. But, yeah, I just don't know the Stade Francais side to the level that I need to be able to provide you guys with decent commentary for that game. Like, yes, I could talk about the Stormers the whole time, but I also don't think that would be fair for people who want to see it for Stade Francais. It could be a week before Calgary gets power back up, says Kiwi Gamer, but currently we have got the water break. A lot of players have got the umbrellas out. It is extremely warm at the moment for this game in South Africa. So, to be fair, with the heat taken into consideration, Bordeaux probably aren't doing too bad to be 14-7 down at this stage of the contest. Currently sitting 26 minutes in, 14 minutes remaining. Few Bordeaux supporters in attendance. It's certainly nicer being in the shade than it is being in the sun for this contest. Just talking about the knockout rounds that are coming up. I should mention Bordeaux is safe. The Bulls theoretically are also safe. At this point, if they were to win this game by around 36 points, they would take first place off Bordeaux. But that might be quite tricky to do. I should also mention that would open up the door for Lyon to be able to take first place from Bordeaux, depending on how their match goes. But yeah, there's still a lot to be learnt. Big run from Marcel Coetzee. The big man's over for a second. He has been on fire already. And just after the drinks break, I'm talking half a second, and they get over the line for another try. Marcel Coetzee getting a lot of praise from his teammates. Second try of the match. I think they are just going to check this again. Hamish says Manus there. Great bit of work. Gets close, just bumps off Adam Coleman. Got sat on his backside. Pure power from the South African 6. Now, nice, easy kick. Straight out in front of the post. It does go over, making the score now for the Bulls 21 points to 7. And just like that, with that try, they are 1 away from getting themselves the bonus points. So they are right where they want to be. There is also the possibility that we can see them get the bonus point try before even reaching half-time. And that is when it will start to get dangerous for Bordeaux, and it will be the question of how much are they going to lose this game by. Kicked off high by Zach Combs for his first start. Hasn't gone the 10 metres. Ruan Nokia doesn't care. He decides to play at it. Now Marcel Coetzee has to play halfback. Gambedi with the run-up. Back across to the right. Now Creel. Villy LaRue goes to Stedman Hans. We're going back for what seems to be another penalty now. Also, who's going to win between Wigan versus Penrith Panthers? The Rugby League World Club Cup? It's a good question. I mean, the Panthers are always a strong side, but then saying that, Wigan, they don't do too badly. Is it played in Australia or England this year? Heavy-faced man, and I agree with you. Also, don't know any of the Stade Francais players. We cover the Stormers versus Stade Francais game. We will not be, unfortunately, but we will be covering the Stormers round of 16 contest. Same with the Bulls. Same with a lot of those other contests that are happening for the round of 16. Now that ball has gone into touch. About 15 metres out from the Bulls line. Bordeaux need this try to be able to get back into the contest. Yeah, there was a neck roll in the breakdown, which is why Bordeaux did receive the penalty. Nice attacking run from Dosh Tambwe. Makes a few extra metres through Jan Hendrik Wessels. Currently Bordeaux, oh, they have to get rid of Husson. They didn't do so. And he manages to get the turnover for the Bulls. That is brilliant work from the fly half, who is now ready back in the pocket to be able to put the boot into touch. Good work there from Johan Husson. And just making it awkward for Bordeaux to be able to clean him out. Quick as a cat, Husson got in, got out with that ball intact. Very handy bit of work. And very crucial bit of work, because Bordeaux were looking to fire straight back. Now they have still got themselves a line out, but this time it is around 35 metres out from the try line. Now going off to the right-hand side. To Potier. Or to Potier, I should say. And number 13. Now Carlos Saidi building up some steam. Taken down by Jan Hendrik Wessels. Now good stepping from Belbari. Taken down again by David Creel. Big attack around. Puru, the captain of Bordeaux. Now another advantage. This time it is for offside against the Bulls, who were up extremely early, which did shut down any chance of an attacking play for Bordeaux. Chipped in behind here, waiting for the awkward bounce, nicely cleaned up, and they will go back for the original penalty in favour of Bordeaux, and they don't really have many options here. They have to kick for the corner. They have to keep this pressure on the VODACOM Bulls, or else they will find this game slipping away from them. And I think that's why it's so important that they don't settle for 3 here. It looks like they are going for the corner. They have got some sort of injury there, though. Hopefully nothing too serious. Oh, that kick was very close to going dead. Okay, we got the player down, and we are going to have a little bit of a stoppage. I believe it's actually Kane Douglas who has stayed down for Bordeaux, so hopefully nothing too serious for him. 18th appearance in the Champions Cup, so he's had a relatively long stint. Is it pity? It's a pity. Don't cover any of the SA20, says Morna. Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't actually found where to watch it here in New Zealand as of yet. I know we're about 13 or maybe even more than that through. And also, we have got the opportunity to leave a chat on the live stream what Yan Lu is doing now of this game, says Manus. Tell you what, that would be multitasking well and truly, wouldn't it? Kane Douglas now making his way off the field, and Richard will be the man who is replacing him. 5 metres out for line. Bordeaux, very important throw-in, and it has worked nicely for them. Now the rolling maul hasn't gone forward as of yet. It's been well defended by the VODACOM Bulls, although now it's starting a side shuffle, working its way towards the touchline. So they do have to use it nicely passed across into the midfield. Aberti driven backwards. And a strong tackle attempt now. Carlos Sadie, nice carry from the big man. Going short side and rushing up was Gamedi to be able to take out the bootlaces. The Bulls still looking for that turnover. Almost every breakdown, we see at least one player commit. Another penalty advantage in favour of the Bordeaux side, and that will actually be a yellow card here. And power outage, the ultimate for violence, says Tatum. Now Gerhard Stennekamp, he will be off the field for the rest of this half. They have still got another 9 minutes remaining here. Okay, 5 metre line out. Once more. Last one was defended well by the Bulls. Gerhard Stennekamp put his hands down but still kept on fiddling for the ball. So that is why he has ended up with the yellow card there. Bordeaux. Nicely taken once more. I said, dear, you haven't done it. You don't understand dear, says Martis. I mean, I understand dear. It's just you don't have to do every deer that's ever been dared of you, or else people would have jumped off bridges and all sorts. Now, nice rolling maul. No advantage. Being dragged down by the Bulls. Now going inside ball to Bilbari, but it was forward. And now they're going to have to go back for another penalty advantage. Now, if they drag down another one here for the Bulls, I believe that they could end up with 2 men in the bin. This is a game that has been riddled with disciplinary issues for both teams. Bordeaux, I believe, have given away maybe about 8 penalties. The Bulls have given away about 5, so they're slowly starting to catch up with them. Now going off to the right-hand side, Pete Sami. Flat ball to Alberti. In the midfield. Slightly getting isolated there, Bordeaux. They have to make sure that they've got a man there ready to go each and every breakdown. Looks like the captain might give himself a bit of a crack. In fact, it's Adam Coleman, and he's got the ball down. Bordeaux have scored their second. And they do want, of course, that bonus point for 4 or more tries. Bulls are 1 try off. Bordeaux now just the 2. But Adam Coleman, the big Aussie, does cross the try line. 7 minutes remaining in the half. Just keeping nice and low there, Adam Coleman. Going at a 45-degree angle. Unfortunately for Mornay Smith, just couldn't quite stop him enough. Less than a metre to work with, though, so he probably did a decent job for what was in front of him. Bordeaux, though, have managed to strike again. Now Zach Holmes to line up this kick has gone over, and it makes the score 21 points to 14 in favour of the Bulls still. And they are down a man, I should mention. So they've still got another 6 or so minutes of this half that they are one man less out there on the field than their opposition. Have now slightly taken momentum. So it's a very hard one to call, this game. I knew it was going to be somewhere close, but then I also felt like the Bulls later on in the heat might find themselves as the side that can run away with it. Now Johan Husson kicks this one off, out on the full. Mistake is made by the Bulls. And that is the last thing that the Bulls want now, as they have given the ball straight back to Bordeaux to have another crack. Now, the scrum hasn't been too consistent from Bordeaux in this contest. The Bulls have won themselves more scrum penalties. We actually saw early on, Carlos Sadie ended up going to the bin for a scrum. Okay, Martin Zima now makes his way out to the middle. And come on, the Bulls. You have to be more disciplined than that. Hamish, have you murdered a fish with a rock? Says Manus. Yes, but it was in a humane way. You know? Sometimes the best way to do it. Definitely for a trout as well. Either that or it's a knife through the brain. So it just depends on what you're into. Have both teams qualified for the next round already, says Fleishon? They have, yep. So both teams going to be making it to the round of 16. Oh, you know, they're pretty good overall. The Bulls, they could get theoretically knocked. No, they got Connacht down as well. They're pretty safe, I would say, with the way that it sits. But that is going to be in touch. Mistake made by Bordeaux Bègles. No room to work with. Looks disappointed, but great cover defence from Ambrose Papier to be able to force them out. But yeah, they're pretty good in terms of, like, unless some sort of miracles happen and Connacht win their game with a bonus point and then Saracens win their game by what would have to be a massive, massive margin just to have a chance. And that is if the Bulls don't score again. So pretty much one more Bulls try confirms their spot. Did you want to go fishing? Yes, because or else then doing what you mentioned before would make no sense. And now Abuti. The ball up again. And also this will be an interesting game. Top of the log against number 3. It might ending both teams with the same number of log points. Says Alfie. Did you catch any fish lately? Nah, I haven't actually been fishing in the last maybe about month or so. Or maybe a few weeks. I would say I don't think I've gone in 2024 as of yet. Good ball handling from Bordeaux. They were trying to strip it and the break down the Bulls, but some nice stepping again from Mbutier. Now Madosh Tambwe going in there with Sebastian de Klerk, who's showing some brilliant hustle. In fact, it was Devon Williams on this near side. Now passing it across. Still there, back into the pocket. Zach Holmes. For the up and under, it's going to be straight up towards the sun. Beautifully taken by Villy LaRue. Now gets it away to Devon Williams, who's already scored one try today. He's now made a tackle, and the ball's gone into touch. And come on, the Bulls. You have to be more disciplined than that, says Morin Lagrange. Now, I think both sides will look at this first half as, I mean, they've both been able to score good tries, though, so it's kind of a bit of a 50-50. They've had some great moments, but they have also had those disciplinary issues, both teams, that is. I want to try and improve in the second half, and it might actually be the difference between who wins and who loses, who can limit the amount of penalties that they end up conceding throughout the second 40. But Ambrose Papier searching for this ball at the back of what looks like an awkward rolling maul. The ball is there, don't change. Here's Carl Dixon. Let's put it high. Madosh Tambwe gets it across to Buros, the try scorer from earlier on. Look for the 50-22. It does bounce inside of the 22 of the Bulls. They do not quite get that 50-22. So Bordeaux aren't going to bust a gut in this game then. Pretty much. Like, At the end of the day, they want top position. That was a real awkward landing for Madash Tumbwe. Slightly picked up and dropped. Now 50-22 again attempted. Villaroo does well. Now we'll look to kick this one downfield. And it's a fantastic kick from Villaroo. It's taken quickly by Bordeaux, taking the risk. David Creel doesn't get the ankle tap though. And now Bordeaux charging forward. Chance here on the halfway line, but is picked up by the Bulls with Sebastian de Klerk. Now and Bruce Papier pins his ears back. Tries to find that next pass. Heineken not able to hang on to it, but Devin Williams cleans up. We do a Premier League live commentary once again. Maybe one day, I'll be honest, it's probably not a competition that we will be covering anytime soon consistently. And normally the goal with the commentary is to be consistent with competitions rather than chopping and changing, just so you guys know roughly what is going to be happening. Now Stephen Haas, another offload, gets it to Villaroo, who passes it out wide. Krill for the corner, and he will have the pace. He's scored it. 20 seconds remaining in the first half, and that is the bonus point now for the Bulls, which is exactly what they would have had aimed for going into the second half. And when it's fishing season in New Zealand, depends on what region you're trying to fish in. A majority of places, it's kind of around that October, I believe. October till about maybe March. I got a little fishing book somewhere that will tell me what I need to know. But yeah, it depends on where you are in New Zealand though, because sometimes it does change depending on your region. Great bit of work from David Creel to be in support. Okay, Carl Dixon, I think he's just saying you got to hurry up a little bit to one of the players. I think that was to come with the goal kicking. Now Johanna Hudson, 3 from 3 today. He's been looking very strong off the kicking tee. Has actually missed that one. Johan Olsen not getting it right that time. But the Bulls still have a very handy lead going into halftime and a bonus point already secured in this contest. 26 points to 14 at halftime. About a 10-minute break, ladies and gents, and then we are straight back into the action. But we will get some stats to do with this contest. Go like this. And like that, there we go. So, I mean, it was heavily in favour of the Bulls when it came to possession. That is one thing we knew heading into this contest. I'll just quickly check. Do we have any information about who each of these sides are going to be playing? I know it's got to be confirmed for the dates. Moment, where are we? We are there, this game. So, the stats for this contest, ladies and gents. So far, we have seen the 4 tries for the Bulls, so they are sitting with that bonus point as we currently sit. In terms of the attack, we've seen 198 metres made by the home side, the Bulls, compared to the 63 of Bordeaux. But in those 63, Bordeaux have still been able to get themselves to 2 tries, 6 clean breaks for the Bulls, and 12 defenders beaten. 2 clean breaks for Bordeaux and 4 defenders beaten. So interestingly enough, in terms of stats, those 3 that I just mentioned, the meters made, the clean breaks and defenders beaten, any stat that you've got for the Bulls, you divide by 3, and that's what Bordeaux have done in the contest. Possession pretty heavily in favour of the Bulls there, and territory sitting about 50-50. 91% for the tackle success of the Bulls, making 39 tackles, and then 84% for Bordeaux, but they have made 61 tackles, so they will start to slow down at some stage soon. Both sides receiving the yellow card, and also 7 penalties against Bordeaux compared to the 5 of the VODACOM Bulls. There is an old legend that if you play from north to south, is in your favour, for it is to believe that the north side of the field is a little bit higher than the southern side. Says Alfie there. And I was getting worried about the Bulls. Come on, the Bulls. Says happy face man. And also, do you think league players are better than union players? They're better at some things, and union players are better at others. And I think that's why, as nice of an idea as like a team rugby versus team rugby league would be pretty cool, I think depending on the format that you play will heavily depend on the result, because if you stick a whole heap of rugby league players in union, then up against a union team, they will probably lose. If you stick a whole heap of rugby union guys up against league guys playing league, then the league guys will probably win. So it's a tricky one. But yeah, it would be interesting if they ever did a rugby union versus rugby league game. I've got some water that we will be consuming. Tell me, Hamish, what is the biggest fish you ever catch? Probably only like 8 pound, somewhere around there, which isn't too bad. Like, I'll take that. But yeah, just a kahawai. I don't know what they're called elsewhere, but they're kind of like a modified tuna salmon type thing. I've just got a replay of the sevens taking place. We have quite a few sevens videos coming out throughout the week as well, ladies and gents. Mainly previews of sides in terms of who they are playing next. We've got the South African sevens, of course. It's always a very entertaining one to watch the blitz box in action. Samoa, Fiji, New Zealand, Australia, Ireland, Great Britain, you name it, they're playing in the Perth sevens, male and female, and it is across 3 exciting days of action. We've also got the West Indies versus Australia test match that we are covering on the channel throughout that time. Little bit of England versus India. Who's your pick to win the whole thing, says Jaco van Rensburg. It's a tricky one, to be honest, because the defending champions, La Rochelle, have been struggling in their group. So I'm starting to wonder whether or not we could see someone who initially maybe didn't look like they were going to win it, but could end up taking it out. Like, Bordeaux are going to be a hard side to beat when they play at home. And if they finish top of their table, they will get their home field advantage for quite a wee while. So it's an intriguing one, to be honest, in terms of what side could cause the upset. South African sides, I honestly feel like they've got a really good chance of at least making it to maybe the semi-finals, either the Bulls or the Stormers. But once again, it does depend on who they play and also where they play. Because, of course, the Bulls and Stormers both proving that they are very strong sides at home. Stormers don't travel that well. The Bulls, I feel, actually travel a little bit better than the Stormers. But, yeah, will heavily depend on where they are playing their contests and who they are playing, for how far they do go in their competition. Wonder who it will be in the second half. We've already seen a little bit of Ben Tamefuna. For the Bulls, they have got Cornel Hendricks, Ayako van der Voort, Keegan Johannes, Andre Klo, also Van Heeren, Mchuno Matanzima, and also Aka van der Merwe, the last man that can make his way onto the field for Bordeaux. Like I said, Tamefuna, the only man of this bench who has made his way out there. I feel like at this stage of the contest, Louis Belbarry just hasn't quite done enough. You know, everyone wanted to see the man do well out on the wing. He did that nice little chip and chase, followed up by a second kick, but just didn't really have the space. What's the most fish ever catch? Says Mornay. I'd say like 10 or something. Pretty much, like, there was a while ago where Kahawai were just running rampage. And honestly, it wasn't even really fishing. Like, because you just chuck your hook in the water like 3 meters out from you and you catch one. And you could see all of their fins in the water. I actually got a GoPro footage of it just because it was so weird to see. Because, yeah, you just see all these miniature fins in the water. And we're not talking like small fish. Like, all of them are probably about that big. So, like, they're all eating fish But because they're a school fish and because they came into shore, like, they're just everywhere. The Bulls win 38 points to 21. Bulls are a proud Bulls supporter. Says bro in there. Okay, so you're giving them another 2 tries. 1 converted, 1 not. I feel like they'll take that scoreline. The Bulls going into the second half. Yes, they might slow down a little bit, but I think Bordeaux will be the same. At the end of the day, she's going to be a pretty warm afternoon for them playing in South Africa. And if Bordeaux get a try, they can pull off the upsets. It's a happy-faced man. Well, that is true. Of course, that one kick that has been missed by Johan Hussen, we currently don't know the extent of the importance of that kick. But for now, it does seem like they should be all right. Bulls bench looks stronger, doesn't it? The Bulls bench, for me, it looks stronger, but only because I know their players, whereas like Bordeaux, there were a lot of guys there that I don't really know that much about. But yeah, I would say that the Bulls have got the stronger bench. Cornell Hendricks is not a bad player at all to have coming onto the field late in a contest in that midfield. Probably for Stedman Hans, I think will be the man who ends up getting replaced. Eldrick Lowe to make his way out there for maybe Heineken. Keegan Johannes. Yeah, they've got some great players coming off the bench. I still think the Bulls will win the whole tournament. So here's happy face man. Not too far away from the second half getting underway, ladies and gentlemen, for this contest. So we'll be starting probably in about 4 minutes' time, somewhere around there. Do let me know your full-time score predictions. I feel like Bronwyn has started something here. So be sure to put in those full-time predictions, and whoever is closest, I will put up on the screen. So we've currently got the one of 38-21. What do I think it's going to be? I'll try and do some maths quickly off the top of my head. I'm thinking they're going to score 4 more tries for the Bulls. I'm thinking 3 of them are going to be converted, so add another... Oh, that's a lot of points, though. 42-25. Says Nonmum, how do you feel about the Bulls' defence so far? Very strong. I believe they've only missed maybe 1 or 2 tackles, but they have got about a 92% tackle completion rate in this contest, so... Yeah, I think they're doing extremely well. And just out from their try line, they've had to work extremely hard, but they've been proving time and time again that they are very handy. Now, I will ask the question as well, ladies and gents. I talked about the UFC a little bit earlier on. Dricus du Plessis, of course, going to be fighting in UFC today for the middleweight championship. Question that I have for you guys is... I know that quite a few South Africans have really been getting behind him over the recent times, but for you guys personally who don't follow mixed martial arts, have you heard a lot about that fight in South Africa? Out of curiosity, because I know that there are a lot of people who are absolutely, like, ecstatic for that fight to be taking place. But yeah, I'm curious to know if DDP, if people have been talking about him on the streets, if everyone's kind of getting excited about the chance of another world champion coming out of South Africa, do let me know. It's going to be a good fight. I am definitely going to be keeping my eye on that one. We were originally going to be doing a live stream for it, but I think I'm actually going to be watching it with a few people. So I think that might be the plan instead. Just showing a sudden death game between New Zealand and Argentina in the 7s. Could be a possibility this weekend. I realised I never gave my score prediction, did I? But then I think I got too excited because I was going to say that the Bulls score 52 points. But you know what? We're going to do it. There we go. And I will say that Bordeaux scored 2 tries. You know what? 52-26 just seems like a stock standard score. That fight is the biggest thing in South Africa for the past 2 weeks. Says Yako. But yeah, even people who don't follow mixed martial arts, they're probably still intrigued, aren't they? To see how we go. Well, that's a lot. Did you share your fish with neighbours, friends, or did you keep them to yourself? Fun fact, I didn't eat a single one of them. I think you're allowed to take 20 home of the carway, but I think we had about 6. So I think 5 of them I gave to, there's a fella down the road who's a bit older, and he actually smokes them. So, like, he'll put all the seasonings and everything on. So I gave him 5 of them when we last went, and he smoked them all and just had them for him and his family. And then the other one I actually gave to our next door neighbours. And then at Christmas time, they came over with a bottle of wine and a box of chocolates for me because, yeah, they said it was my Christmas present for the fish, which was quite cool. While the Box playing Portugal, and they're going to make mince meat out of them, says Happy Face Man. I mean, it's good for the smaller sides to get the chance up against the top dogs, although it is going to be more than likely one-sided when those type of games happen. Discipline Bulls, hopefully you come back from the second half better. Now, I should mention, we have had about 5 predictions, ladies and gents. No one has backed Bordeaux to make the comeback in this contest. But that's probably fair enough. They are currently down by the 12 points. That's not to say it's impossible to be able to go on and get themselves a win in this match. It's going to be very difficult, though, because I would argue that the momentum currently as we sit is heavily in favour of the Bulls. While we are at it, we're actually going to check the odds for this contest, ladies and gents. What we got? Okay, Bordeaux are $9 underdogs, ladies and gents. So that makes sense. Definitely with the odds sitting the way that they are, Bordeaux do seem like they're quite close to out of it. There we go. Right. Second half, just around the corner. Anyone has an update on Johan Grobler? I do not. Unfortunately, what's happened to him? Injury? Or, was he injured a few weeks ago? Johan Grobler. Because he hasn't been playing for a while, has he? Jan-Hendrik Wessels is actually having a lot of game time. And then Akka van der Merwe off the bench for them. A second half now underway, ladies and gentlemen, for this contest. It's kicked off by Zach Holmes, looking straight into the sun. Not taken cleanly by Ruan Nokia. And now Holmes and Bordeaux have their first attack of the half. Looks like they made a couple changes. Neighbour must be kind to give you a box of chocolates, says Molin Lagrange. And he's on best at the fast attacking rugby, says Happy Face Man. Back across to the right. Flat run. Hard from Bentame Funa, but the penalty is won by the Bulls. The clean out was not there from Bordeaux. And it ends up costing them. Brilliant bit of work there from Cameron Honeycomb. It's very close to scoring the first try of the match, just narrowly missing out due to dropping it over the try line. But he's doing very well here. They'll set back to 15 now. Looks like a few more changes being made for Bordeaux, including Tatafu. Now making his way out, Martin Zima. Another change. Now Jan-Hendrik Wessels, nicely taken by Nokia. And Bruce Papier going across to Johan Goosen. Already scoring 2 tries today for Marcel Kutsia. Looking for that hat-trick. Now Papier, skip pass from Ville Larue. Goes off to Cameron Honeycomb, who's just run out of space. And it does go into touch. Bordeaux have got themselves the line out. Looks disappointed there, Honeycomb. Thought that maybe the opportunity was on if just had that little bit more space to be able to work with. Oh. Okay, Carl Dixon has said, I think you might need stitches for that. I think that's to Marcel Kutsia. Yeah, unfortunately cut below the eye. And unfortunately that means more than likely he will have to go off the field. And that is a shame because he's got 2 tries. He's looking for his hat-trick. But Elric Lowe will now make his way on. I think he was trying to convince the referee, she'll be right, it will stop bleeding soon. And the referee pretty much said, you have to get off the field, mate. You are covered in blood. Now 22 metres out, Bordeaux from their own try line. A lot of pressure will be on them here, but they managed to handle it quite nicely now. Short pass. Big shot on Umberta. High from Abadi. Madosh Dumbwe thought about going up for it. Unfortunately, did have his view slightly impeded. Elric Lowe moves up to the halfway line. Bentame Funa looking for the turnover. Does not manage to get it behind the horse, and two men jumping up to try and cover his kick. They didn't end up with it. And beautifully taken by Sebastian de Klerk. The Bulls having a lot of possession throughout that first half, looking to repeat that in the second. It's the man who was off the field for the first 10 minutes. Stennekamp short ball to David Creel. Gets the offload away to Elric Lowe. And Willy LaRue scores the try between the posts. And it is another one for the Bulls. Great start to the second half. Only 3 minutes in. And the Bulls, they're attacking prowess. Offload after offload. Brilliant run from David Creel. And Willy LaRue reaps the rewards. Ambrose Papier was a great little pop pass up to Creel. Then got the offload to Elric Lowe. And one more in the tank. Found Willy LaRue. And that will now be converted as well. 33 points to 14. My favourite fish to eat is hakefish. What's your favourite fish you've ever eaten? I mean, blue cod's normally pretty decent overall. Can't really go too wrong with it. A great bit of work from Willy LaRue, celebrating big time. 44 minutes in. And for the Bulls, it is all about continuing to build this lead. I mentioned it earlier on, but there's a chance they could get themselves into first place at the end of this round. It's a very thin chance. Of course, all other results would have to go their way. Good tackle made again from Heineken. Oh. Okay, they already had the knock-on advantage there, the Bulls, but they played the ball on the floor. Which means that the Bulls, that actually meant that the Bulls do get the penalty rather than the scrum. We've got Bulls, says Helen Howe. Now 39 metres out from the try line of Bordeaux. And well, hello, boys and girls, says Kurt. Welcome in, mate. It's been a little while. Whereabouts are you situated at the moment? I should also mention, Kurt, your chair, it's not set up here, but I've got the office set up out there where we are going to be doing a lot of recording soon, and that chair looks bloody beautiful out there at that desk. It was also quite a mission to put together. There were screws that we thought we didn't have, but then we found them right at the end after we had pretty much modified it so that it wouldn't need the screws, but nah, she's looking good. Very nice chair. Did I tell you my son bought himself a moped? You did. I think for his job at the fish and chip shop. Novmum, if I'm correct. And my neighbour's favourite fish is the same as your favourite. Says Morin Lagrange. Okay, with the waving from Jimbo there. Now another penalty goes the way of the Bulls. 10 metres out from the line. Jan Hendrik Vessels. 10 penalties so far against Bordeaux. Just too many in a row, unfortunately. And how's it going, buddy, says Kerr. Now rolling more, Jan Hendrik Vessels. 15 metres out, and he's being dragged down, sacked by Adam Coleman. But it does not stay in there now. Elric Lowe. When these South African boys start running at the line, it's just incredibly hard to stop. Because of their size and the strength. Round the side, Mornay Smith just short of the try line, and Bruce Papier. All the balls come out the back, but it was missed by Bordeaux. 2 weeks to live in New Zealand. Yeah, it's already I can't believe how quick, that's gone by. So it's early Feb, isn't it? You are doing your travels. And we can now ask him to go get milk, says Novmum. One of the perks of him having his license. Can pop away, get the bread, get the milk. It's not going to be the best kick from Bordeaux. Deep inside of the 22 and great pre-Six Nation nerves though, says Jimbo. Bulls so far have had 10 visits to the opposition 22 throughout this game. Now, I should mention still 5 for Bordeaux, which those stats aren't terrible and nicely claimed there. The line out does not work for Jan-Hendrik Wessels and his Bulls side. Now Zach Holmes trying to sling this one across. The Bulls need some meters. Sorry, the Bordeaux side needs some meters. I think Six Nations will be interesting this year. Who's your pick currently, Kerr? I know a lot of people are kind of juggling between Ireland and France. Do you see any... Well, you are Scottish, of course. Do you see Scotland doing all right? Scored 4 tries for France at the Rugby World Cup in 2023 for Louis Belbarry. You've had a pretty rough month or so, but back now, says Kerr. Well, it is good to hear that you are back. Hopefully everything is all right. I'd assume you've been flat out travelling country to country. Work's probably been hectic as well. So, yeah, hopefully you do get a bit of a chance to relax and enjoy summer New Zealand in a couple of weeks. And also, I think France and England, or we got France and England away. So I'm thinking France and Ireland will clinch it, I think. Says Kerr. Yeah, the big game is France-Ireland, isn't it? Whoever wins that's got a good chance. And I think that Ireland, I feel like they'll want to fire back from their Rugby World Cup campaign. France was supposed to do well because they were the home side, but Ireland, they just look so good throughout the World Cup. Quick tap taken by Bordeaux here after the penalty is won for offside against the Bulls. Now going to the short side. One more across. Nice to see Farrell coaching the Lions. Says Kerr there. It's crazy to think how close the British and Irish Lions tour is as well. We're only about a year and a bit away from that taking place. Italy to take out the wooden spoon. And we got France and England away, so I'm thinking France for the Grand Slam. We get the Rugby 24 game. It releases in about a week. We certainly will be. Hopefully we'll be able to release a lot of videos when it comes to that game as well, although there's very little information about the game that is currently around. Now, nice inside ball to Belbarry. Back to the left. Currently Bordeaux, they've managed to make about 50 metres just in their running game. They've got themselves a penalty advantage. Pete Samu goes to a fellow Australian. And Adam Coleman did score a try a bit earlier on for Bordeaux. Scotland struggling with injuries and depth in some areas. Could see it being a horror show. Although good result for Glasgow last night. Nice wide ball. Madosh Tumbwe will score the try against his old side. Puts it down between the sticks. I mean, your Glasgow boys are on fire at the moment, Kerr. Like, they seem like... Well, that's the thing. Is it the Champions Cup or is it the URC that they're eyeing up? Because either way, they're doing well in both. Who do the Kiwi lads support? Northern or Southern teams? I support both. At the end of the day, we cover both competitions heavily on the channel. We're covering every game of the Six Nations is the plan. We cover Super Rugby, the URC, Sevens, Northern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere Rugby. It doesn't matter. We cover it on the channel either way. And Scotland without their mascot won't be the same. Says Jimbo, and also All Blacks to beat England 2-0. Says Happy Face Man. But Madosh Tumbwe getting the Bordeaux side back into this contest. There's still time in this match. Bordeaux chasing it heavily though. Every time the Bulls score, Bordeaux will get that next try, but they still find themselves down by the 2 tries after that kick from Zach Holmes. But 2 converted tries. I should mention they are 1 try away from getting a bonus point of their own. This contest. Yeah, nice wide cutout pass. Just shifting it to the right. Madosh Tumbwe. Jan-Hendrik Wessels. Earlier on, I think Jan-Hendrik Wessels was giving Madosh Tumbwe a bit of stick. So Madosh made the extra effort to be able to step him while inside of the in-goal area. Just to annoy him that little bit more. Knocked on there from Bordeaux, and already the impact of Ache van der Merwe as he's able to claim that ball is evident. Little knock-on the ground from Bordeaux. In fact, they're going back for the original knock-on. So 29 minutes, the second half, and actually the first half, to be fair, felt like it went relatively slow. Glasgow were hard done by to lose to Northampton. Trying the last moments. I was perfectly fine. Anywho, lesson learned, says Kerr. And to be honest, sometimes the occasional defeat isn't a bad thing. Like, I always said it for Super Rugby in terms of, like, any side that goes undefeated or at least is on a massive, like, winning streak, having a loss every once in a while isn't a terrible thing. We look at Ireland for the Rugby World Cup, international rugby. You know, they were on fire and they felt like they couldn't be beaten, and then unfortunately they were. Currently in the Caribbean, flying Miami to Sydney on Thursday. That's a long flight. That's like, how many hours would that be? That would be 20 hours or maybe about, oh, there's a big tackle picked up and dropped. Nice attack, Rania and Bruce Papier. Too quick. And scores just like that. Every time Bordeaux get themselves back in the contest, the Bulls say, no, bugger off. We're getting the lead back. Hi, Irish Bro, says Michelle. Welcome in, Michelle. Hope you're doing extremely well, mate. Bruce Papier. Just phenomenal stuff from that man. Oh, it's a hard shot on David Creel initially. All in it's around 24 hours with layover in the airport. It's a long flight. Although you'll be slightly more used to it now, won't you? Seeing as you've done it so much in the past. It still probably doesn't make it any more fun, but hopefully it flies by for you. Do you get any extra time in Sydney, like a day or two just to chillax, Kerr, or are you straight back into going somewhere else? I guess you might get a bit of time, like a few days. Do you own any rugby jerseys? I've got a few. I've got a Glasgow kit. I've got a Hurricanes kit, both brought to you kindly by that man Kerr. All Blacks kit, I've got two, and Chiefs kit. I think that's all of them that I can think of. And they can take our haggis. They can't take our freedom. Come on, Beagles, says Fluffy. Nice run for Bordeaux. Another try in this contest. This time, it's the replacement 21, Tavita Tatafu. What's going on in this game? This one's going to be 100-pointer if someone doesn't start making tackles. Straight onto the ship this time, unfortunately, but spending a couple of days in Perth when I leave, says Kerr. Perth's nice. Oh, what heat have you been dealing with at the moment, Kerr? Because I feel like New Zealand and Australia, depending on where you've been, of course, with their heat, this is probably going to feel pretty warm. Like it's a good, I guess, time of the year to visit New Zealand. Amanavas cleans her windows topless with a Highlanders jersey. Wait, so she doesn't wear the jersey. She takes the jersey off and cleans the window with it? It's an interesting tactic. Is it her only jersey? 25 minutes. That kick has gone over. So Bordeaux now 40-26. Sorry, now 40-28. Once again, though, they still find themselves down by the 2. Use the jersey to clean the window. Says, yeah, surely. I mean, it's a jackpot, says Fluffy. I'm sure you're very happy about it, Fluffy, but it just seems like a hassle. You know, like, surely there's something else. A sock? No, a sock might be too small. How big are her windows? I feel like a lot of people in this scenario would ask how big something else of hers are, but yeah, how big are the windows that she's cleaning? That one's gone into touch. Bordeaux not getting a huge amount of distance on it. And about 30 metres out now, the Bulls once again have got themselves the line out. And to 24 minutes remaining. Ever since I mentioned it was 29 minutes, I think we've had 2 more tries. They've had Bulls getting reckless now. It's not over till it's over. Says Alan Howe. Yeah, if Bordeaux can score a try against the run of play, they'll be back in this contest. The problem that they've got is the Bulls keep scoring every time that Bordeaux score. And my Bengals got very exciting, huge windows. Says Fluffy there. So even a jersey may not be big enough. Well, I guess saying that a mop's kind of like a sponge is kind of small. Akafinda Merva. Driven backwards, 38 metres out from the line now. The ball's going off. Vili Laruta Matanzima. Think he can sit at the offload for half a second. Oh, almost stolen the breakdown from Bordeaux, but Machunu does extremely well to keep it on the side of the Bulls. Stephen Hans finds his offload away to Aka van der Merwe once more. Back across to the left. Willie LaRue. Skip pass out to Jochen Goosen. Elric Lowe. Now space opening up. Gourmeti goes out to Sebastian de Klerk. I know it's... not if it's Stewie Forster's jersey. This is where Fluffy tells us she uses her underwear for the bigger windows. Says Kerr. There's so much I could say, but I will behave myself. Another penalty, this time against Bordeaux for offside. I honestly think the Bulls should take the 3 points here. They're going to take the quick tap though. They're being aggressive and it might pay off. They've got plenty of men on the outside. Sebastian de Klerk doesn't get there. I think he went into touch. And good day, me mate, says Mimania. Welcome, mate. Hope you're doing extremely well. Pantaloons for the bay windows, says Fluffy. Just goes into touch, Sebastian de Klerk. He tried to put it in the corner. I honestly, I know it doesn't go with what they've done for the rest of the game, Bordeaux. Oh, sorry, for the Bulls. But 3 points there would have given you a 15-point lead, which at least means Bordeaux need 2 converted tries and something. Whereas at the moment, they just need 2 converted tries. And it's very hard to know if that is enough in a game that has been so back and forth in the scoring department. I drop in my comments that check if Hamish still remembers me. Says knowledge, I certainly do, mate. It's been a little while since you popped in, probably about a month or so, I would say. So I hope you have been keeping well. Stolen there by the Bulls with Bruce Puppy, who currently is having a phenomenal game of rugby. Aka van der Merwe. Oh, Machunu's been driven backwards big time by Big Ben Tamefuna. Now, Bruce Papier going off to the right-hand side. Still available there for Papier. Aka van der Merwe thought about the offload, doesn't get it away in the end. To 59 minutes, Marcel Kutsia. That cut must have stopped bleeding because he is back out there on the field, but Ben Tamefuna gets the turnover. Now Bordeaux on the counter-attack, 22 metres out from their own line, so a long way to go before they get to the try line. Getting the breakdown early was Paul Abadi. Bulls up very quickly. The 50-22, the attempt is good, doesn't go into touch. Willie LaRue is back there to be able to cover it. Awkward bouncing ball, but it sits up now for Devin Williams. Going for the kick of his own. Balpari has to wait for it. Keeping the ball in the field of play. Balpari has got space. This game is opening up big time now. It's been about 3 months before the World Cup. Says knowledge, has it been that long? Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Nice sell of the dummy. Katia goes through. Bordeaux strike back, and they have finally scored 2 tries in a row. Every other time it's been the Bulls, then Bordeaux, then the Bulls, then Bordeaux. But now it's gone the Bulls and Bordeaux and Bordeaux. As we just said, that it's stopped bleeding. I don't think so. Maybe it's the Kiwi accent. I meant to say cut. So hopefully it didn't come across as that other one. High end, says Robert, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. And the Bordeaux Bègles, I don't know how to say the second part of their name, I'll be honest. It could be Beagles. I think it's Beagles. But yeah, they're back in it. I think their headers get into the locals as well. It could be a record scoring game, says the reviewer. At the moment, the way it's going, no one's tackling in the second half, which is brilliant for us because we're getting to see a lot of tries. Not so good for the players who are having to run end to end and getting heavily fatigued. Willie LaRue showcasing why he deserves to be in the starting XV. Yeah, he's had a very good game, Willie LaRue. And greetings, Rugby Rockers and Amish, says Ruth. Welcome in, Ruth. Of course, Kerr. He's very happy indeed. I feel like it was the romance of the summer, wasn't it? Ruth and Kerr. And Bulls looking good for 50 points. I think at the moment, Bordeaux are also looking good for 50, though, with how often they're scoring. It is a hot day in Cape Town and I'm working another 2 hours to go. Says Ruth, so hopefully it flies by for you. Hopefully it isn't too busy. Although, is it better if it's busy? Probably better if it's busy, because then you at least feel like the time's going quicker. And I haven't even thought of hitting New Zealand cricket up about doing commentaries for the YouTube streams. Not really. I'd get a bit scared, I think. Plus, they probably wouldn't let me. I would say like a modern-day Grease, the musical. Those summer nights. Says Kerr, come on the Bulls. Says Ruth there. And hey, Ruth. Says it was there from Fleshin. But yeah, there are streams that they don't have any volume on, which I feel like would be quite cool to have something there. But yeah, I don't know whether it would be us, to be honest. Okay, with the laughing faces and the love heart ones too. Water is a fantastic thing. 3:30 a.m. currently here in New Zealand, ladies and gentlemen. But this game back underway, 19 minutes remaining, and it's kicked off high by Van der Vault. And already Belparis again has another opportunity with the ball. At the moment, everyone's just running through everyone. Cross kick from Bordeaux. They're just starting to show why they're such a dangerous team and why they score so many bonus points. Adosh Dumbway, rather than taking that one with his hands, he tried to kick it, which did not quite work. Bulls need to get their minds back on the task. Says Jimbo, I wonder if I can get a Royal Caribbean goodie bag made up by the 7th. Says Kurt, a Royal Caribbean goodie bag sounds very, very fancy, Kurt. I should probably, am I still supposed to be on the cruise, Kurt? Because if I am, we should probably organise something with it being 2 weeks away. Because what date is it that it's about the 3rd, isn't it? Or something along those lines. Bulls are playing a dangerous game now. Says Helen Howe. Yeah, I think they're taking some risks. And it will either work for them or it won't. That's going to be another penalty. This time in favour of the Bulls. It's not fancy, says Kerr. And Drake Duplessis to be awarded honorary Springbok when he brings back the UFC World Championship belt. It's a treat to witness the African warrior in battle. So we're fully behind Drekus, the gent says over. It's going to be a great fight. Him and Strickland, I think, is the closest title fight the UFC have had in a very long time in terms of the betting odds. Like, no one can really pick who's going to take it. Drekus has looked like a beast for so long. And Sean's just one of those guys who are extremely hard to hit. They've both said that they're going to do some stuff on the feet, but I think Drekus's grappling will give him that slight edge and something to fall back on as well, just in case. It's going to be a good fight. The Bulls are a bit too relaxed. See his knowledge there. And also Bulls need to... Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? Have got there, no scrum, no rum. Yeah, we should have organised better, I think, says Kerr. Yeah. Although, to be fair, time has flown. Like, it still seemed like it was a few months in the future till it was happening, and now it's like tomorrow. Well, not quite. 7th, when Christchurch, but 2nd is when the crew starts from Sydney, says Kerr. And Strickland can grapple okay, says Fleetwood. That is true. He has got that grappling background. I think that top pressure, though, from Drakus is normally, like, so heavy. Like, he's a big guy. And I have no idea how he makes 185 every time. Right, the Bulls now taking the 3. This is to give them that lead that I recommended they get earlier on. Fun fact, Bulls are terrified of donkeys. It's true. Really? I mean, I don't want the Bulls to get scared, but I'd love to see a bull and a donkey have a conversation. Well, not a conversation, but just a standoff. But then what happens if the bull goes, nah, not feeling scared today, and then plows through your donkey? Then you all of a sudden, you know, it'll be a bit of a rough scenario. I do like your commentary very much. Seems to be a very good game. I wish you could be there in person. Says Alfie, but that kick has gone over, and now the Bulls have got themselves the 8-point lead, 43 points to 35, in a game that just keeps on giving at this point. And fun fact, oh no, I read that one, and didn't know Hamish is well-rounded in the world of MMA. I probably, like, I watch I'd say more MMA than I do outside of rugby and cricket, any other sport. Oh, Madosh Thumbway has knocked the ball on. Just missed the chance. Really put a donkey in a bull's pasture, and it'll retreat to the dark corner, says Fluffy. What do you think about old Yankees? Again, naughty stuff, always in trouble, Elton. Says Roof, he just can't help himself, unfortunately. Like, there are some players that you feel bad for when they get, like, something that they do wrong, but for him, it's just, like, one thing after another. And you at one stage, you lose that sympathy. And Drekis has to get it done early. If it goes the full 5, I'd go Strickland. Well, Strickland, once he worked out Izzy's game plan, he just picked him apart. And Israel Adesanya had nothing that he could do to stop that momentum. So, like, I would happily say that if it goes the distance, you'd probably say Strickland, but when it comes to knockout power and an ability to get it done early, I know that this sounds crazy, but, like, if anyone's going to win it in the first, like, minute, it would be Drekis. Just, like, a big shot on the chin and a couple more follow-up. But, yeah, it's extremely hard to predict who's going to win, which is quite cool. Because I feel like it's one of the closest ones. People are talking as if Strickland has knocked out a top 5 contender. And that is where Strickland struggled a little bit, is the fact that he hasn't got those knockouts on his record, more recently anyway. Like Adesanya, he worked out his game plan, he picked him apart, but he didn't knock him out. Drakis to Robert Whittaker, who has been a real contender and took Izzy to the limit, sat him down, took him apart as well, and then knocked him out. So, yeah, I think power goes to Strickland. Power goes to Drekis. Evasion probably goes to Strickland, though, because of the way he's able to just kind of... He's got a really weird... Like, he kind of just bends back and he somehow avoids everything. How can we sleep while Elton's beds are burning? Says Lovey and Big Love Brother. Says Sebastian, welcome in, mate. And need to get yourself up to Christchurch on the 7th at the least, says Kurt. I agree. And I feel like it will be quite cool because the good news about Christchurch is Isaac is also there. So I can make an excuse and be like, hey, Isaac, I'm in Christchurch. You want to do something as well? Like on, well, oh, hang on. What's on the 7th? What day is the 7th? If it was the month after, I know that the test match would have been on. But yeah, I think it will be on the cards, I would say. I think 7th is early in the week, isn't it? Adesanya, just too overconfident and tired. He has to rest too, says Knowledge. Well, now he's resting for about 2 or 3 years, isn't he? Are you making me want to stay up to watch this fight, says Fleishan. Tell you what, if you stay up, though, you got to watch the other fights on the card too. Because there are some really good fights that are underrated on this card. Like some real good matchmaking. That's close. Bordeaux are over again. The boys are just running rampage like a bull before it sees the donkey. Anyone who's been here a little bit will get that reference. Others will not. We have got their... Oh, what's happening to the Bulls? They are just running out of gas, I guess. Bordeaux have found their momentum. Bordeaux playing like donkeys. Says Midmanian, game on. Says Nov Mum and Drakis has got all the options. He's a lot smarter. As is going to set USC on fire. USC will come to South Africa. It's long overdue. Dana's been made a jackass a few times. He'll awaken. You meant months, bro? I don't know. He made the joke a while ago. He was like, oh, I'm coming back in 2 years. So I really hope he's lying. And I hope he will be back before then. So the 7th is a Wednesday. That might be quite nice, actually. A little bit of a midweek holiday. There won't be much on midweek either, I wouldn't think. I want to watch Arnold Allen's fight. Yeah. He's a good fighter, Arnold Allen. He actually comes in as an underdog. That kick is missed. 3 points difference now between these two. But yeah, like that main card, Arnold Allen versus Evloev. Evloev, I think is how you say it. Chris Curtis, he's going to be fighting. He's been fighting for like 15 years. You have 2 weeks to train for rock climbing. I may have forgotten to train for rock climbing, Kerr. I remember a couple months ago, I was like, yeah, I'm going to start getting in shape so that I can climb that rock tower. Now I'm like, If I get up like 1 or 2, I'll be happy. He wants to fight Hamzat on UFC 300. How is Mados been playing? Mados. Who is Mados? I assume it's a nickname. Oh, a little bit of an injury there for Burros. Or is that Madosh, maybe? Madosh Dumbway? He's had a bit of a quieter game overall. Like, he's had a couple runs, but nothing too substantial. He also scored a try, though, I should mention. You'll see his nuts, can't watch it. I fear witnessing broken femurs. Yeah, I'll be honest, like, I hate watching when the females, this sounds really weird, but when they're grappling, which I think normally men would absolutely love because of how bendy their arms are. Like, you see them, like, bend their arm the wrong way, and you're like, just tap out, please. And then their arm goes more and more, and then it snaps, and you're like, why don't you tap? You should have tapped. Your arm's backwards now. You can scratch your back very easily. Don't worry, mini golf requires no training. That is true. Very true. There's mini golf on the boat as well. Oh, you got that driving range too, don't you? On the big cruise ship. Big run. Elric Lowe puts the ball down. If New Zealand girls have the same type of accent as Hamish, I don't want them. Says knowledge. I mean, they'll swear at you a lot more than I do. New Zealand girls. Australian girls are even more substantial. They call you the C word, and that means like they like you. We can watch the game. Unfortunately, there aren't too many options for free to be able to watch, but the Heineken Champions Cup YouTube channel will be your best bet for being able to catch the action after. So there's only 10 minutes remaining in this contest. After that, the highlights will be up on the Champions Cup YouTube channel. So be sure to give that a look. Hamza is a joker, lacks dimension. Drekas will froggy walk him. Says Obi. There's a few interesting contenders at the moment in terms of guys that are really high in Dana's book. But, yeah, we still haven't seen them really tested, I don't think. Champions Cup YouTube doesn't show highlights in New Zealand, don't they? Still not sure if Australian ladies are actually people, says Sebastian. And I think you need to start focusing on the game. Sorry, I'm getting excited about the UFC now. I'm definitely I'm buying that pay-per-view, I can tell you that right now. But the last 10 minutes, this is, of course, very crucial for both of these sides. Bordeaux, 40 points. The Bulls sitting on 43. Yeah, very close contest. I wonder why all the golf balls were washing up on the beach, says Fluffy. Will your channel cover Drekas? I was going to, but now I'm probably going to watch it because I think a couple other people are coming around to watch it as well. It's very strategic because, of course, I'd have to pay for the pay-per-view and then they can watch it too. Oh, penalty. Far side has gone down. Bordeaux win themselves another one. And they have got firm momentum right now. The Bulls, I mentioned earlier on that, I mean, Bordeaux were $9 underdogs. At the moment, they are $4.40 underdogs. Which, to be fair, they're not doing too badly. But I would have thought they'd be a little bit closer. Didn't notice how Bordeaux is so close. Said knowledge. And also we've got their Bulls need new name Fluffers. Says Obi and go Aussie Girls Sevens. And of course, they are going to be playing next week. We are covering them on the channel as well. That one has been not straight throw for Bordeaux. Another error. And it's just the little ones at the moment that they are struggling with. I won't be paying for it. Says Flesh in there. Even if you're not buying the main card, I'm sure you'll probably find somewhere to watch it. Flesh in. But yeah, even without the main card, like the prelims themselves, there's still some very awesome matchups that are taking place. My Cats is doing the loof. Or the loaf. And also, come on, Beagles. Wow. 29 months. That's a lot of months, mate. Still loving it. It's like 2.5 years, Seb. Alright, so it's been greatly appreciated having you along for the ride. It is nice to see you popping in still, because a lot of people after 29 months will be like, right, he hasn't changed much. He still talks fast. So they'd only pop in very, very rarely. But 29 months, very impressive. So thank you very much, Seb. And Bulls aren't showing the beast in them. They've been renamed the Cow, I swear. Says knowledge. Although they're starting to build a few phases here, the VODACOM Bulls. And hashtag Sebastian with the clapping. And there as well from Kerr. Stravino Jacobs. I believe he was off the bench. And in this contest, Machunu. If they won a penalty here, would they kick for the corner? Or would you continue trying to attack? Maybe put the 3 over. Who's the Bulls' best number 8 ever? I mean, when the Bulls had Dwayne Vermeulen at 8, it was always entertaining. Definitely because of that quick tap and go. He'd always try his absolute best to make them get on the front foot. Are we okay there? Can you check how long I've been a fan? Unfortunately, I cannot, I don't believe. I don't think it has an option to do so. How long is a hippo pregnant? Great question. How big's a hippo baby? Is probably another question that needs answer. But Cornell Hendricks, in fact, rather than Stravino Jacobs as the replacement. Now out wide, going to the left-hand side. Devon Williams, half a chance. Around this side again, Elric Lowe. Good tackle made on him. 2 years. Is that how long a hippo's pregnant for? That's a long time. Oh, it was almost stolen in the breakdown, but the penalty goes the way of the Bulls, and now I mentioned about it. This is when they have to make their massive decision. 8 months. There's another mum there. I've been under a couple hippos, highly recommended. This is Fluffy. That's an elephant, that's 2 years, right? They're taking on the 3 points, which will mean Bordeaux do need a converted try to be able to win this match. And just like that, they actually go out to $12 underdogs. That seems drastic. Yeah, it's gone back down to $8 now. I think they realised that might have been a bit too much of a jump in terms of those odds. Lots of us with no TV will be going to Drekis' house because we know he's not at home. Thanks, Drekis. Says Obi, and kick for touch, says Knowledge. Well, they have decided the posts are the better option to kick for Jaco van der Vault. His first kick of the day and a lot of pressure on it. Luckily for him, it's relatively straight out in front. And cannot underestimate the importance of this kick. I'm judging it when someone dressed as Harry Potter. Says Robert. And that one has now gone over. And boom, Amish, looking awesome, thanks. And 9 months was more than enough for me, and I did that twice, thankfully never again. And the decision is too risky, and geez, poor elephant, says a Fluffy. But yeah, now 46 points to 40 now, ladies and gentlemen. The scoreline favours the Bulls, but this game is not over. Bordeaux are now $8.50 underdogs in this contest, and rightly so. They need a try within the final moments of this contest. 5 minutes remaining, though. If the Bulls get themselves another penalty, they will more than likely... Oh, good run from Elric Lowe. Building up some momentum. Getting the pistons pumping. It's now... in fact, it's going to be David Krill. And the midfield, the Cruise on the second is currently selling for $7,500. And how much availability they have. I don't know if I've got $7,500. The worst thing is, my wisdom tooth on this side is starting to come down. And she hurts pretty bad. And I feel like I'll have to spend all my money on getting that removed rather than like other big ventures. I still am rocking my iPhone 6S. I was going to get a phone over Christmas, but then... yeah, iPhone 6S still going. Strong, kind of, ish. It freezes every 2 days or so. 8 months for Hippos. Why don't the All Blacks pick overseas players? They've got a system that they don't like to go away from. And I'm wondering, rum helps that. Says Kerr, does it? How long do you have to drink for, though? Because I feel like the tooth's still growing. Kerr, as long as it keeps running with the males, I can't wait to get home. Dive into my duvet with orange juice and Southern Comfort, says Ruth. Now we've got another stoppage near the halfway line. Bordeaux, they still need a converter try. I'm waiting to see the chair, says Robert. It's set up out of my other office that I have got. You will see a video coming up relatively soon, I believe on the entertainment channel maybe. that the chair might make a slight appearance in the corner, but it's at my second desk that I use out there, so it's quite comfy compared to this one. But the thing with this one is it's holding up the green screen, so that is why I've got to go with it in this one, but it works perfectly out there with the setup. Android rules still. Says knowledge. Now ball fed in by the Bulls. Big push. And Bordeaux don't win the penalty. Thought it did. Is that what you call those guys, Roof? Giving the elephant some rum and southern comfort. I should bring on the berth a little quicker. Says Fluffy. Okay, cool. Says Robert there too. 3.5 minutes remaining. The clock's still ticking down. Bordeaux now $10 underdogs in this matchup. Oh, I don't know who's going to win this. I feel like the Bulls should have won easy. And then they kind of threw it away. And I think that's down to the passion and the aggression that the Bordeaux Bègles bring to a game. The fact that they don't want to give up and they'll keep on fighting till the final whistle. Heineken Champions feeds the ball and free kick now for the Bulls. Too much, says Carl Dixon. Decision is going to be another scrum. I'm getting nervous about the Bulls. Says happy face man and yeah, Mimania, Southern Comfort, and a bottle. Says Ruth. Oh. No. Says Mimania. I'm just concerned about elephant's gestation period. Says Fluffy. And liquid and orange juice the best. Says Ruth. And there as well. We have now got another stoppage, Southern Comfort under the duvet. Mind to the dirtiest interpretation of that. Not the only one, Seb. It was, yeah. There was a slight moment that I went, oh, and then I went, okay, I'm going to behave. Another change. Carlos Sadie back out there. I'm glad. Got a comfy chair. Hope to see someday. Says Mornay. And Bulls shoot themselves in the foot. Yeah, they have a bit. They've kept this way closer than it should have been. Given South Africa versus France quarterfinal vibes. I'm getting them. Says Knowledge. Tame Funa off for Carlos Sadie. I think that was due to injury. Here we go. Strong scrum from both sides. The Bulls, they're waiting for the advantage. Going off to the short side. Elric Lowe goes himself, finds the offload on the inside to Ludwig, which is a name I haven't said a lot. That's a good turnover there for Bordeaux, although I think they've lost it. Yes, they have, and the Bulls have got this ball back. Do they go for a drop kick here or wait for the penalty? Aka van der Merwe gets it off to Marcel Kutsia, going short side. A little bit of a risk in that scenario. Counter ruck from Bordeaux, but the ball is still there for the Bulls. Now Matanzima wrestled down to the turf. Penalty won by Bordeaux with 90 seconds left. I like you want to see how Amish's setup looks like. See the knowledge? It's a bit of a mess at the moment. Like, there's a lot of random stuff. I'm just looking around. I've got glow-in-the-dark golf balls. Oh. Okay, so it's a big kick into touch. Oh, Dunedin is the 6th as well. Says Kerr there. Yeah, so you go south, don't you? And then you head Christchurch. And then I think you're in the North Island for a few days-ish. Shame Fluffy. Says Ruth. Can't drink Southern Comfort due to overexposure at age 16. And why is the score so high? Where's the defence? Well, it was there in the first half. Then both sides kind of let their foot off the gas a little bit and just allowed... Oh, stolen by the Bulls with 40 seconds remaining. But Bordeaux is searching for this ball. Trying to hold it in. They won't be able to do so. Now Keegan Johannes goes off to Elric Lowe. All they need now is 2 more phases. And the Bulls will win this contest by the 6 points. Now Muchunu taken down again. Back across. Marcel Kutsia. Good tackle in by Carlos Sadie. 13 seconds remaining. Keegan Johannes searching for that ball. Bordeaux. Oh, they've left it wide open, but it's a penalty to the Bulls. They'll be able to kick this one into touch, and that will be more than likely the end of this contest. The match ends like now. Bordeaux will end With 2 log points above the Bulls. Says Alfie and shoes so close. Well done, the Bulls. And it looks like a Harlequins win, says Nov Mum. And there as well. We've got glow in the dark. Bulls are a bonus. Says it was there from Fleshin. But the Bulls hang on. 46 points to 40. The steakhouse on board is open for lunch in Dunedin. Yeah, you're tempting me. I got to decide whether I'm heading south or north, don't I? And Hamish makes me mellow and happy. It's called soothing voice. It's soothing to my soul, says Ruth. On that night, I'm off to bed, need my beauty sleep. See you on the flip side, says Noel Mum. So we will see you later on. I believe the next live stream that we have got, ladies and gentlemen, will actually be probably Saturday next week, or sorry, Friday next week with the Sevens. And also, before that, we've got Thursday live stream with West Indies versus Australia in the cricket as well. Boo. Where do you dock and Dunners, Port Chalmers? Says Fluffy, and go on, boys, says Knowledge there as well. And also, win is a win, but the Bulls need to be tougher, says Jimbo. Yeah, I think they've dodged a bullet here. They really could have lost that game, but luckily for them, when it mattered most, they managed to just keep it in their favour. And can you have a sirloin with pepper sauce with fries and onions for me, please? Says Ruth. He'll probably try and do one better, Ruth, and send you on the cruise ship to try it yourself. And what is a win, but Bulls need to be tougher. And the South are the kings of Europe. I mean, it's a 6-point win. They still conceded the 40 points, so I feel like they'll be disappointed, the Bulls, with this performance. If they had only conceded 10 points, they would have finished top. Port Chalmers has always had a docking reputation, says Fluffy. A man of the match. It's got to be between Marcel Kutsia, Philly LaRue, or probably Ambrose Papia. Send Hamish a fat rump steak with fries. I do love myself some fries. Steak, not too bad either, but fries, you know, I judge a lot of fries. Yet Port Chalmers, says Kerr. And there we go. It's actually none of the men that I said. It's actually David Creel who receives the Man of the Match award. He did have a very good game in the midfield. Had a couple solid runs. Made a lot of tackles as well throughout the contest. Remember when the Frank Worrell Trophy meant something? Now it's been reduced to Aussie winning it in 2.5 days when they played bad. Says Sebastian, yeah, it is a shame because, like, West Indies, after the first, you'd argue after the first day and a half were in it, and then they just unfortunately lost those early wickets. Being 2 wickets down for 1 run never helps. Anyone, you come too fluffy, says Kerr. And a win is a win, says Knowledge. And lots of hairy sailors wearing lipstick in Port Chalmers. And Lucky Pinot wasn't playing, says Flesh, and yeah, he could have been the difference maker in this one. But, yeah, just not quite for Bordeaux. Pick of their players. I feel like it's actually kind of hard to say. I'd say that Romain Burros, the fullback, actually did pretty decently. If there's meat, you can't stop me, says Fluffy. David Creel, man of the match. And this matchup, ladies and gents, doing extremely well for the Bulls side. And they now, with that 5-point win on the table, this is not the updated table, but they will move up to 15 points. Bordeaux received 2 bonus points, so that has all but confirmed them, more than likely has, the points differential. That will put them at number 1 on the overall table. I've just realised that everyone plays, like, they have 4 rounds of rugby, which means you don't actually play everyone in your pool. I don't know how it's taken me till now to realise that. So you actually don't get to play every single side in your grouping. But anyone wondering about what the Bulls have got next week, they are going to be playing at 4 a.m. New Zealand time. We are covering that game on the channel between the Bulls and the Lions. Then they are playing in 28 days' time. Bulls versus Lions, the rematch. They got the Stormers on the 3rd of March. 24th of March, they have got the match between the Bulls and the Dragons. And then they got Leinster on the 30th of March as well. How far are you from Port Chalmers? Says Kerr there. 2,000 Ks approx. Says Fluffy. Jalibert wasn't playing either, was he? He was also missing. Yeah, so 2 big French names that they didn't have available for this match. Never mind closer. The better pushes the team. Better, no sleeping. 2,000 K WTF, says Kerr. And there's, oh yeah, it's not quite a road trip, is it? Well, it could be. It would just take a lot of time. I'll definitely be going somewhere closer to you. Thanks again, Hamish. Beautiful commentary as always. Nearly home time for me. Says Ruth, yeah, only about an hour and a half to go for yourself, Ruth. So hopefully it does continue to fly by. Yeah. It was a fun live stream. I feel like it was a little bit more laid back than some of the other ones we've done, mainly because of the, I guess, the UFC talk and the elephants and whatnot. I predicted 46 points scored by the Bulls earlier on in the chat. You did. You did predict 46 points to 29. No one quite predicted how many points the Bordeaux side would score. Oh, yeah, that only takes 15 minutes on my Rally 20. Yeah. They're just showing highlights of the Cricket World Cup, New Zealand versus Australia. Fun fact, I might be going to a test match between New Zealand and Australia in March. I believe it. The second half was not good for the Bulls. Yeah, they just took their foot off the gas a little bit. They actually only scored, I believe it was 2 tries. And come on, Arnold, says Bleshin. And I enjoyed this live stream, says Morning Lagrange. That very good news. And of course, got plenty more coming in the near future, whether that is cricket, rugby, etc. It's all going to be happening on the Kiwi Lads channel. Just very quickly, I will have a quick look at the schedule for, one moment, do I have February on the schedule done? February 12th, okay, I do have February done. So New Zealand versus South Africa is on, but that would be day 4, and normally test matches are over by like 2 or 3 days at the moment. So it should be all good, Kerr, for having a bit of free time. In fact, to be fair, there's nothing really on Thursday or anything either. And March will be pissing down. Probably flaming hailstones as well, says Fluffy. Yeah, very impressive from the Bulls, though, to get themselves over the line because they were close. Little mistakes could have ended up costing them very drastically. But nonetheless, I think that is going to be the end of this live stream, ladies and gents. New Zealand versus Australia should be good to watch live, says Mornay Lagrange. And Southern Comfort, yippee, says Ruth. And there as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you in a future live stream just around the corner. And yeah, hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your day / night / whatever time it is. I'll text you, says Kerr. Sounds good. On Instagram, I assume that will be, but all good. I will keep an eye on it. Hopefully my phone does work, but it should. So we should be fine. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all for the next one.